Have you ever played a game that is so amazing that you wonder, how the f is this game not more popular? Maybe that game for you is like Titanfall, or maybe the Just Cause series, something along those lines. But for me, that game is Hentai Simulator. Wait, what the fuck? For me, that game is Borderlands. The whole series, all of it. These games are much better than pretty much any game that gets a lot of attention. The plot in all of these Borderlands games, not you, are about as strong as Daddy Seabum, Arnold Schwartz, I don't like to say the last part of his name, or even The Rock, if you will. There is enough content in this series to keep you busy for the rest of your life. You can pretty much sum these games up with two different words: looting and shooting. That's basically the premise of these games. The gameplay is absolutely phenomenal. Hordes of enemies coming at you, and you using your abilities and your skills and your phenomenal weapons to just wipe them all out and smear them all over the pavement. Personally, I absolutely love the story. Again, not you. I absolutely love the story of the Borderlands game. I think they're engaging. I think they're very funny. The world that Gearbox has created is a great one. Some people don't love the story, but they still love the game because the gameplay is just so much damn fun. But for me, I love the story, and the gameplay is absolutely A1. Top tier, best ever, not anything tops it. The other cool thing is it does heavily focus on the looting part, looting and shooting. It heavily focuses on the loot part. The loot is absolutely phenomenal. There's over a billion items. I'm not like, I didn't just fuck up and say billion, but actually meant million. I'm not someone who doesn't understand what billion is. There's literally a billion different guns in this game. The way that Borderlands has this game set up is it can drop different rarities of different items, of different weapons, of different manufacturers that do different things, that have different abilities, that have different elemental effects, and you get what I'm saying. There can literally be a billion different variants of different weapons, which makes the looting phenomenal. Not only does it make it amazing, but it makes every single time that you play the game different. Because you're getting different weapons, it makes the game different. Borderlands is a game that does heavily focus on replayability. So anytime you do play this game again, although you are playing through the same story, it feels different. You have a different character with a different skill tree. You have different weapons that you're using to pair with these different skills on these skills trees. One could even say it's almost orgasmic. Borderlands is one of those games where it really does amaze me that not more people play it. Don't get me wrong. There is a huge following for Borderlands games. Either you absolutely love Borderlands and it's one of the games you always play, or you don't really play Borderlands. There is absolutely no hidden reason that I like this game. Like there's no alternative motive. There's no reason that I like this game that I'm just not telling you guys about. It's not like there's just something specific that I just absolutely love to do in this game. There's nothing like specific. Have you ever wanted to kill a Karen? That might sound a little brutal, but have you ever wanted to? I know I have. Well, now you can. You can absolutely kill Karens in this game, which is absolutely amazing. And that's just one of the very small and few things about this game that makes it stand out from any other game series. The reason I decided to make this video is because of Tiny Tina. It is a spin-off-ish game of Borderlands. It's not an official entry into the Borderlands series, like it's not a Borderlands named game, but it's a Borderlands game. Does that make sense? That just barely came out. I had already put in 24 hours into the Tiny Tina game, and the first 36 hours the game had come out. I know. I reached the max level before the weekend of the game being out, so let's just say I like Borderlands. And it just made me reminisce. This game series is incredibly, disgustingly underrated. The game series does deserve a lot more attention, which is why I'm making this video, to shed a light on this game. Borderlands 2. This is the best entry in the series by far. It's not even close. It doesn't get better than Borderlands 2. The voice acting in the entire series is exquisite. It is, truly, throughout all of the games. But something about Borderlands 2 and the plot, the way that it all comes together, mixed with the gameplay and the characters, definitely Borderlands 2 is the best. There is literally no hidden alternative. There's no secret reason why Borderlands 2 is better. It's just good for one. What makes these games so special is that throughout a 19-hour long journey, you slowly spec more and more skill points into different skills that make your character a complete badass. Finding what skills to spec your points into and finding what weapons work with your character is the joy. It is the bread and butter of these games. Not to mention, the boss battles in these games are on par with a game like Elden Ring. Everyone talks about how amazing the boss battles are in Elden Ring, and they are. Elden Ring is great. But the boss battles in Borderlands are just as good, and you can replay it multiple times to farm for specific weapons. Plus, it drops a lot of loot, baby. What I think makes these games so special is the multitude of hot chicks What I think makes these games so special is that not only is there a phenomenal story to play through, a main story, there's a lot of side quests. There's a lot of options that you have. If you're not feeling the main story, you can go and do some side quests. Some of the side quests are arguably better than the main quest. It has every aspect of a good RPG, baby. The voice acting truly is exquisite, though.
You seriously thought you could hide from me, Angel? Is that what you thought? Say goodbye to your friend, Angel. Say it.
Like I said, throughout the entire series it is, but something about Borderlands 2, that game is just... it's amazing. There's different events you can do, there's different weapons that you can gather, there's different things you can farm for, and not only are there weapons you can gather, but there's also shields. There's also different artifacts you can get, little relics, things to boost your character's stats. It's not just weapons that you're on the lookout for. And not only do your weapons just shoot bullets, but your weapons can do some things that no other guns in any game can do. They can have sex with you. I mean, you could shoot out bullets that will then stick to an enemy and then explode, and that's where the damage is. You can shoot out radioactive bullets. You can shoot out bullets that are on fire. You can have a gun that speaks to you. You can shoot out bullets that will electrocute your enemies. You can spec into different skills that will give you additional projectiles that shoot out when you shoot your bullets. So as you can tell, just from my brief explanation of these games, there are a lot of different ways to play them. Each of the Borderlands games will come with multiple different characters that you can play as, and each character has a different skill tree with different abilities that you center your gameplay around. So you can literally play the game with one character and have it's an okay experience, and then you can play this exact same game, the exact same story, with a different character, and you can have the absolute best time of your life. Each character, it caters to a different person. If you really enjoy meleeing the f*** out of every enemy that you see, then there is a character for that. If you really enjoy long-ranged sniper attacks, there's a character for that. There is a character for any playstyle that you could possibly dream of. Not to mention how stunningly beautiful the game looks. I keep comparing this game to Elden Ring. I think it's just because Elden Ring is the newest game out right now that doesn't suck balls. But Elden Ring, everyone talks about how great that game looks and how beautiful it is, and it is. That game is beautiful. But it's not that diverse. It looks the same pretty much the whole time. Borderlands is extremely diverse and the maps are very fun to maneuver through. Each game has a plethora of different areas that you could explore and look at, and each of them are very unique and different in their own ways. It is rare to find a game that has this many vastly different areas. I mean, sure, there's games like Skyrim, there's games like Fallout, Elden Ring, that all have different areas, different looking areas, but not like this, not so incredibly different, and each area brings its own unique enemies that you'll battle with. Love or hate the story, you're going to have fun with Borderlands. Mobbing around alone or with friends, building up your character, finding different loot, that doesn't have anything to do with the story. You don't even have to like the story or what the game is about to enjoy the gameplay. That's what makes this game so special. The sense of humor is very dry and unique from any other game. The other thing I like as well is, although each game is very similar fundamentally, they do like to throw in little twists and turns with each new entry into the series. With Tiny Tina's new game, you can actually cast spells, which is really cool, instead of throwing grenades. In Borderlands 3, they introduced 2 action skills that you can use, rather than just one, which previously you only had access to 1 action skill. Things like this that spice up the game. Although they are different, the fundamentals of the games are very similar, so spicing them up in different ways like this makes the games even more fun to play. Although the stories are all connected and they do fit in with one another, each game has such a vastly different story that if you haven't played it in a while, jumping back into it's going to be a lot of fun. Prior to this video, I had not played Borderlands 3 in quite some time, but jumping back in, it was actually a lot of fun to replay the story a little bit and to do some of the quests and to engage with the game a little bit, although I had already dumped probably 30 days into that game. These games keep me coming back. They have me wrapped around their finger like I'm a high school girl obsessed with the dude that cheated on her. This game has me hooked more than Will Smith with Jada Smith. This game would have me walking up to Chris Rock at the Oscars and slapping him across the face in front of millions. It would do that. It's got that effect on me. You may be wondering, how do you continue to play the game once you finish the story? Much like any RPG out there, such as Skyrim or any RPG, once you finish the story, that's kind of it. You can go back and finish the side quests that you never completed, but that's about it. Not with Borderlands. There is a lot of endgame material for these games. Once you finish, you can enter different arenas, you can enter different challenges, you can enter a lot of different things to to help progress and level up your character. You can switch up your builds to do these events. There's extra leveling, there's OP levels, there's chaotic levels, there's tons of different things you can do once you end the game to keep on going. You're not just playing through story missions, it's almost like an MMO. There's lots of different endgame content. Lots. Honestly, at this point, if you're not hyped up about Borderlands, I don't know what's gonna get you hyped up. I've dove face first into the ass of the Borderlands series, and I have not come out since. These games are hands down the games that I have spent the majority of my time on. My most played games are Borderlands games. If you're not sure whether or not you're gonna like Borderlands after watching this video, I think you're either stupid or you're just dumb. Basically, I love these games. They're underrated as fuck. I know you're gonna love them too, and you should definitely go and try it out. I don't really know what else to say.